Terrence, Juniper here. I heard that Leonard switched you over to the late shift for whatever reason, so I thought I'd leave you a message to help you get settled in over here for today. Now, I know you're probably feeling a bit anxious, understandably so. As far as I'm aware, you haven't had any prior experience working a late shift. Plus, I doubt that the storm is helping much in cooling the nerves either. Trust me though, you're gonna do just fine. This job is a cakewalk once you get a good handle on it. Matter of fact, the only thing you need to be worried about is not dying of boredom. Seriously, bring an activity or something else to keep yourself distracted. The monotony really starts getting to you after an hour, give or take. I would know. I was stuck working a late shift myself a couple months back. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Let's keep you situated with all the wonderful equipment in your office. Starting with the cameras. You can view them at the monitor on your desk and change what direction they're looking via that joystick. Pretty simple to use. Only problem with them is that you can't see jack shit. Courtesy of Leonard. He refuses to let us keep the lights on after hours, even if there's someone working at that point because it wastes money or something. Fortunately, me and Chuck improvised and installed these lights to the indoor cameras. If you press the button on the bottom right corner of your screen, they should turn on and help you see a bit. Only downside is that because we had to buy it for dirt cheap, they only stayed activated for so long with On top of that, they also have to recharge before you can even turn them back on. It's about irritating as it sounds, but it's all you got at the moment. As for seeing the outside cameras, well, as you probably guessed, we couldn't set up the lights out there thanks to all the rain. Your best bet is to wait for lightning to strike. It should give you a small burst of light out there. Even if you shouldn't rely on it too much, lightning is unpredictable after all. I'd wager a guess to say that you'll be getting an ample supply of it throughout the week. Regardless, do keep your eyes peeled whenever you don't have a light source available. It shouldn't be too difficult to spot something or someone that doesn't belong. Speaking of which, before you go over what you should do in case of a break-in, I should probably address the plumber-shaped elephant in the room. We all know about the ugly Mario animatronic that walks around here during park hours and chats it up with patrons, yada yada. I'd love to say that he's not your problem during the night, but he is. Thanks to some bug in his system, he has a chance to randomly activate during the night and waltz around the park. On top of that, his functionality to interact with the TVs in the showroom is also bugged. Which means if he gets into your office, he'll short-circuit your cameras for the rest of the night. Andre and Muhammad don't even have a clue of what's causing him to do this. So until those two eggheads can figure it out, it'd be wise to keep him out of your office. Thankfully, there is an easy method to do this. The PA system. If he leaves the stage at any moment during your shift, click on that speaker button. It'll repel him right back. If he manages to get past camera 6 though, you'll have to use speaker more than once. Farther he is from the camera room, the more you'll have to pull him back with the audio. Whatever you do though, don't let him be on 14. He'll be off camera by that point and you might as well kiss your cameras goodbye. Unless he avoids your office like some miracle. Alright, now with that out of the way, break-ins. I'll be honest, I don't really foresee any vagrant or burglar risking jail time just to break into some theme park during a storm. But either way, might as well go over your safety measures. Now, if somebody approaches the middle door to your office, then the best camera for you to keep tabs on is 9. So you should see some enter that camera and leave. Assume that they're in the hallway right outside your door. If this is the case, you'll need to hide, not just in your office. Your best bet is the work shed in the courtyard. Go inside and hold the door shut until you see whoever's prowling around outside give up. As for the courtyard itself, it wouldn't surprise me if someone was dumb enough to try and bolt over the fence. I believe 15 is the closest camera to that area behind the fence, so keep that in mind. And if you see someone behind the fence, use that breaker switch to charge it up with electricity and stop them. Don't worry, it's not enough voltage to kill anyone, just to make them crap their pants. Alright, I think that's about it. You should be set. Check the cameras often, keep Mario in his place, and if a break-in encounters, use the methods I went over with you. And make sure that the park is secure before you clock out. Have a good night, Terrence. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Glad to see you come back for another night. Hopefully yesterday's shift went smoothly. Well, as smoothly as a night shift during a rainstorm could go anyway. Can't say whether or not anything will clear up, but hey, fingers crossed. Anyway, something happened this evening that could potentially affect your shift. We have these two big air ducts in the boiler and breaker room that could connect to the rest of the ventilation. During my lunch break, Carl had me go over to the boiler room and check to see if the pool temperature was up to par. Moment I walked in, I noticed that the cover for the air duct has been torn off. Not sure if it was some punk or an employee trying to be funny, but either way, we couldn't get it back on. Same case for the one in the breaker room that Rosa discovered. The reason this is worth bringing up is because the ducts are massive. They can fit a full-grown adult, and if an intruder is desperate enough to reach you, they could end up using those to crawl over to your office. Now, don't worry, you do have a way to counteract this. I installed a button to the monitor that will overheat the vent you're currently looking at when pressed. This should do a good job at scaring away anyone trying to use the vents. Although, do keep in mind that the overheat only lasts a second. I would suggest that you time your use of it to the exact amount when the intruder enters the vent. Even though you can't see the vent itself thanks to the way that the camera's angled, you should be able to tell when someone tries to enter when they disappear from your view. So if someone enters camera 12 or 11 and then goes off camera, use the overheat in case they try and get inside the duct. I believe that they should be your only concern for tonight, although I did forget to bring up something yesterday. Take this with a grain of salt. I doubt this would prove to be an actual issue, but I have heard of previous cases from night guards where someone barged through the entrance gate and just stood there for a while. After like a couple of minutes, they apparently sprinted out of view and towards the office. If something like this should occur, go into the shed and lock the door like I told you to last night. That'll do the trick. Okie dokie, that's all I got for now. Good night, Terrence. Howdy, Terrence. Halfway through the week. Congrats! A lot of new hires who got stuck with the late shift quit after the first or second shift, so good on you for hanging in there. Now, unfortunately, I do have some more bad news for you. Yet another route to your office opened up. The hallway's connected to 13 and 14. Only solution I could think of is using the smoke alarms that Leonard had retired a couple months ago. Me and Chuck managed to get them functioning again under his nose. Although the way that they work is a bit odd. Because of the state that they were left in, we have to resort to using that old breaker box in the shed. Bad news is that only one alarm is activated at once. Although you could change which one you want to use via swapping the placement of that fuse. We couldn't find or buy 2 other fuses for that box, thanks to how damn old that model is. But I think that should do the trick. Oh yeah, the reason why the alarm in 9 is active too, by the way, is because there is always that chance that your shed trick won't work on somebody. So the alarm should be used as an extra deterrent, should you see somebody in there. Speaking of extra deterrents, see that lead pipe that I left for you in the shed? Look, I know Leonard would nail me if he caught wind of this, but as a last result, should you fail to zap someone with the fence, or if he hears something in the courtyard, whack him with that pipe. Don't go trying to kill him, man, but exercise your second amendment if you run out of tricks to try. Okay, that's about it. Take it easy, Terrence. Good night. Hey, Terrence. Almost at the end of the week. Bet you're looking forward to getting your paycheck, huh? One thing I should update you on, though, is that I guess there's some kind of investigation going on at the moment. Leonard says we may end up having to close down for a few days or something. I don't know. I doubt it's anything to be worried about. Just keep your eyes peeled for the time being, alright? Anyways, on an unrelated note, the wildlife around the area has been getting strangely aggressive recently. A lot of park goers have reported seeing foxes and badgers, that sort of thing. Apparently, though, they've been so hostile that they have attempted to attack patrons and even some of the staff, and that's just during the day. Most of them have been coming from the hedges behind the fence, so keep an eye on the courtyard for those little shits. Oh, and should one of them show up, you should be able to flicker your light at them to scare them off. Simple as that. I've also heard, however, that they've also dug inside the hallway connected to your office. Considering how bright it is, at least inside the office itself, I doubt that your flashlight would do anything. Although that AC in the hallway could work. Depending on the appearance of the animal, change the temperature of the AC on the thermostat in the shed to match. For instance, if they look aggressive, set it to hot. If they look timid, set it to cold. And if they look like a mix of both, set it to neutral. You get the picture. Oh yeah, one other thing. This doesn't relate to any of the animal shit, but me and Chuck installed some shutters in 13 and 14 just in case. You could seal one via holding down that lock button. We tried to make sure that way they stay down permanently when it's pressed once, although the wiring has gave us some trouble. So if you see someone in 13 or 14, hold down the shutters until they storm off. That's about it. Hang in there, man. You're almost done. Good night. Hey, buddy. How have you been? Alright, let's cut the bullshit. Police have been tuning into our every phone call and voice message to and from the park since Monday, including ours. Sure wish I could have filled you in on how to deal with those freaks without sounding like a moron, but I digress. God bless Dylan, though. That glorious egghead should keep those bastards from sticking their nose into our business for a little while longer. Even then, though, you feel it too, right? We're fucked. I know we are. I haven't had a clue how Leonard plans to get us out of this mess, but I doubt it'll save us. We're too deep in now. Only a matter of time until an officer stumbles across one of Silver's freaks or gets inside the utilitars. Either way, I would suggest not showing up tomorrow. I'm not even sure why you bothered clocking in today, but whatever. You're Class A man, and Silver has his little pet prowling around. Considering how hyper-aggressive he is, wouldn't shock me if he wanted your head. If he shows up on your video feed, your best bet is to flash him with something bright. Now, I read his case file, and the camera brights won't be enough to deter him. So I took the liberty of programming them to flash a brighter light. You may have to do it more than once, though. So if you flash him and if he runs off to another room, find where he is and flash him again. When he lets out a shriek or something, that should be your sign that he scurried off. Now, unfortunately, my tampering with the camera light means that your regular brightness is off the table. Although the flash does thankfully recharge faster than the brightness. Again, I don't know why the hell you came crawling back there considering the position you're in, but whatever it is you gotta do it fast and get out of here. I'll get your paycheck tomorrow if you really want it. Just don't go running back, alright? It's like a house of cards. If one of us falls down, then we're all screwed. Good luck, and don't do anything stupid.
detected in laboratory. Dispatching security. Please stand by.